Yo, what up everybody? ET on the EUC. Trying something new tonight. It's actually, what time is it? It's 7:06 p.m. It's actually Halloween night. I was gonna do some deliveries. I was gonna do like 4 hours of deliveries, and then I found out in like an hour and a half it's gonna start raining. So I was like, nah, I'll go ahead and shoot tomorrow and get some stuff going then. But anyway, this is kind of something new I want to try. I thought about it a couple days ago, and I'm like, why not, you know? It's a podcast. You know, this might not be something you're into. You may just be here for the videos, maybe the EUCs, maybe the food deliveries. But in a way to attempt to try to bring more content to this channel, I think why the hell not, you know? And if it's something you want to listen to, then feel free to listen to. If not, then don't, you know? That's the great thing about this channel. I'm not just gonna try to do one thing. It keep me entertained. Hopefully it keep you entertained. It's not the same content all the time. And I think with podcasts, it would help me be more personable. Maybe discuss some things that I wouldn't discuss on the food delivery videos. Right now I'm on Greenway bike pathway. You can probably hear cars going by. I'm on my EUC riding on the bike pathway. It's damn near impossible to get anywhere privacy in the city. And ideally I would be doing this inside my apartment, but I have roommates and it's like flex walls. And if you know anything about flex walls, they're really thin. I don't want to bother them. So I have to basically record out here. This place is probably as good as any. Let's just get into it. The other night I wrote down some stuff that I thought I might want to talk about. Okay, so the first one is, why did I get into food delivery? Well, you know, I was working a job. I was a manager at a restaurant. I was trying to get promoted there. And basically, long story short, within a year, they didn't promote me. You know, they gave me the runaround saying they'd promote me. They even made me go through all this stuff to get me promoted. And then when the year was up, they didn't promote me. And in a month's time, I was already doing food delivery and all that. And I was actually making more doing food delivery than I was working at this job. And I was just like, you know what? If they're not going to promote me, I'm not going to like do the runaround again and, you know, hopefully get promoted at this job. And so I was just like, screw it, you know, I'm making more money doing this food delivery, you know, I might as well just quit and make it full time. And I've never done that before, you know, I never like did a job where basically it was being my own boss, you know, choosing my own hours and stuff like that. Anyway, so I started doing it and I really liked it. And what I like most about it is obviously the freedom. I personally, if I had a choice to work alone or with people, I would choose working alone. It's just the way I like to do things. You know, I'm an introvert. I don't really enjoy the whole group dynamic. Maybe if it was like in a different kind of environment, maybe if it wasn't a restaurant type of thing, maybe if we got to collab differently, but in the kind of environments that I've worked in, you know, I've worked factories, all that other stuff, I've always preferred being alone, doing my own thing. So that's one thing. The other thing is obviously the freedom that comes with this. Choose when you want to work, the hours you want to work, you know, it's great. There's not too many jobs that allow you to do that, which is one of the reasons why I'm starting this YouTube as well. But yeah, so the freedom, the flexibility. Now, when I got into this, right away I was making $25, $26 an hour. That's before taxes, obviously. And then not shortly after that, I was making $30 an hour. I started in September, so things were, you know, it was the fall, the winter, things were picking up. And I was just like, hell yeah, dude, I'll just do this full time. So that's the reason I got into this. You know, there are some cons to this job, like app manipulation. It's dangerous, especially in the city, riding by cars and everything like that. But I feel like if you're cautious and, you know, you don't ride like unpredictable maniac, you should be okay. You know, I never discussed, but I do have a degree in software development, which I recently graduated not too long ago. I was actually at the restaurant job, you know, I was going through a program where I could basically do it for free. You know, I spent like a lot of time at a public university. I racked up debt and everything like that, and I took some time off just because the debt was so high. It kind of freaked me out. I ended up finishing that like actually maybe a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago. And ironically, you know, I went through all that schooling, I got out of it, and for maybe 6 months I was putting out applications. Those didn't go anywhere, long story short. I'm just like, do I really even care? Like I have everything I want basically, you know, I don't need too much. I've never made a lot of money in my life. I'm kind of used to it. Maybe it would be a lot different if, you know, I came from making a lot of money and then I dropped down to doing this. Maybe things would be a lot different. It would bother me more. So yeah, I don't think like I'm special for working this job or anything like that. I know where I am financially. I know where that puts me. I've done this a few years ago. I was living in Astoria, which is in Queens, and I'm like, I'm gonna try this as a side hustle. I had a car at the time, and I didn't know anything about it. I was working at like probably the worst times, probably like 3 p.m., you know, in a car, working one app. I think it was Postmates at the time. And I probably made like $400 a week, maybe less than that, maybe a couple hundred. I don't even know, I can't remember. But I remember doing it, just driving around, you know, at night, just by myself, listening to music. And I'm like, man, I freaking love this job. Like, I'm like, I love this job because, you know, not everything, it's not the same thing, you know, you're not, especially driving in a car, you're not always going to the same restaurant, the same location, you're exploring and you're getting to listen to music. You know, my first time I had my own independence from other people and I fucking loved it, dude. It's fucking great. Like, I enjoy going out. It was like an adventure. Actually, I stopped doing it in the car because one time I went to go pick up food at this place and here in the city, you know, you're not gonna find a parking spot. Like all the side streets are full of cars. And so, you know, I had to kind of like, I had to put my flashers on. I thought it would be okay to go inside the restaurant real quick and pick up this food. And I literally went in there for like a minute and I came out and I had a parking ticket on my car. And that was like a couple $100 or whatever, something around that. I can't remember how much it was. It was a lot. It was more than what it typically is. And I'm just like, you know, fuck this. I did this for a whole week. You know, it took away almost like half my week's worth of pay basically for this freaking parking ticket. I'm like, screw it. So I stopped doing it in my car. Now, when I first started, I started off on a e-bike, like the cheapest e-bike you could probably get. It's an Ancheer, and it cost me like $750 or something like that, $780, which is pretty cheap for an electric bike considering its stats. You know, I could do one battery for like 3.5 hours with pedal assist. You know, pedal assist is, it's not using the throttle. You're basically pedaling and the battery on the bike helps you along. I was doing a lot of deliveries on that e-bike and I did that for a while. What got me into EUCs, I wanted to upgrade from the e-bike to something else. I wanted something, you know, that's portable. I could lift up the stairs, but something that also gives me a lot of mileage. And I was doing research and I can't even remember how I came across it, but I came across electric unicycles. It was perfect for me, you know, living in the city. The range on these things was amazing. It was very portable, very convenient for me to do deliveries, to go up and down my apartment every day. So I looked into it, I started watching the videos, content creators talking about all these EUCs and all this stuff. For my first time, you know, everyone talks about you want a smaller wheel so you can practice, you know, you don't want like the top of the line because it's gonna be difficult to practice on and blah, blah, blah. So I took their advice and everyone said a good starting wheel, especially in the city, would be like a King Song 16X. I took their word and I got the EUC. And at first, you know, I wasn't doing deliveries on it. You know, first I had to learn how to ride the damn thing, right? It was hard. I remember going to Tompkins Park and I was off in the section, basically just trying to learn how to balance on it and all that. During those first few sessions, you know, you're gonna crash a lot, and I did. It took me about like an hour to even learn how to get on it and balance and all that. It took me a few days to learn how to ride it just back and forth, and then it took me like a few weeks to like get on like the streets and shit like that. And the biggest shortcut I would say for an electric unicycle is, for me, it was the PSI. Once I figured out what PSI I wanted, it was just night and day. Anyway, so, you know, I went through all that. And on the side, I was still riding my bike doing deliveries. But it was probably like 7 months ago, I started doing food deliveries on a EUC. And at the time, you know, I was highly motivated by this guy named Tamir Fearless, a YouTuber. I think he's out in like Finland, and he would do food deliveries on a Sherman. So I would just watch his videos over and over and over and over and over again. And I'm just like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. You know, that's the reason I bought this thing, let's try it out. And like the first day or two I did it, I was just like, it didn't feel safe. I didn't feel that safe on it. But I just kept doing it, and eventually it just, you know, it just came second nature. And now I prefer riding my EUCs over all the PVs that I've tried. So yeah, so that's the reason I started food delivery. That's the reason I'm still doing it.